life. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Why People Do What They Do, where we speak to talented and accomplished individuals from various fields. Today, I am so glad to have Suhaili Micheline on the show with us. Suhaili, thank you so much for joining us on the show.
Thank you. Thank you, Jacqueline.
I've
Hi there.
been very interested and very curious really about a dancer's life, especially since I have like I told you, I have very tight limbs, right? And I've always, like, when I watch dancers perform or when I watch dance movies, right, I will always chide myself, like, why if you can only be flexible, then at least, right, you can just not only groove but you can really really dance. So I've seen some videos of you perform. You're absolutely brilliant, Suhaili. You are a dancer, a performer, a choreographer, a teacher. So
Thank
really
you.
share with us, what is dance to you and how did you fall in love with dancing? Why do you do what you do?
Okay, so firstly, very good morning to you,
Good
Jacqueline.
morning.
I just want to say thank you so much for having me here. Yeah, Publish a Story seems very inspirational for me to,
Oh,
and an
thank
honor for
you.
me to share this with on your platform.
Thank you.
Yeah, so thank you. It's a nice, not so bad morning. It's nice and cooling.
Yay,
So
yes.
so back to your question about how I found dancing or how it grew. I I know it sounds very spiritual on me and probably cheesy, but I feel like God has instilled this ever since ever since I was a baby, I mean, to the point that when mom randomly picks up things that she used to like while she was pregnant with me, was always playing classical music. And then it struck me at some point of time when I'm doing my work on my laptop, until today, why do I fall in love with classical music, randomly when I feel like listening to it as I do my work? And it's not like I just listen to it every day, but because it's embedded when I dance, all this
Right.
romantic classical music. So and then from classical music, I start going into I love watching TV shows that had TV adverts last time, and they're all like really funky pick me up jingles, and I'll just start dancing. I'll dance in the advertisement, then showtime, and then I'll just sit down and start watching. So it's the essence of I hear music, I start moving.
Right. So
Yeah.
it started from a very young age, but were you trained from young? Because
Oh yeah.
because your mom owns a dance studio, right? Aurora Dance School. So
Yeah.
naturally you would have grown up with dance everywhere, dancing with your mom, just dancing in the house all the time.
Yeah, not really dancing with my mom. It's like dancing for her, Because like, oh my God, my daughter has nice feet, has got the legs, has got this. I'm going to make sure she becomes something out of this because I used to dance when I was young. You know, no, actually not a bit. A tiger mom lah. She was a tiger mom, to be
Very
honest.
strict, yeah.
Oh, super. So
Mm.
as long as she saw a vision that this is what I could do for every child that she bears, she knows what the vision could be. She will definitely go for it. I think it's the same as her business as well. As a young, um, at that point of time, she was one of the youngest to open up her own schools. Besides teaching under Federal Academy of Ballet, in SS 14, Section 14. Sorry, Section 14.
Okay.
And so she basically built um, Aurora's since 1989.
Wow.
So it's like almost like 30 years already.
Mm.
It's been going. It has never stopped. I mean, the only time that stopped was 2 months ago for the pandemic, lah. Out of
Mm-hmm.
the 30 years.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So having said stop, meaning we stopped moving in studios, but we're still doing virtual classes. So it was mainly I was always following her to the school, to the studios. I grew so passionate about ballet because she had all her old classic videos like Giselle, Swan Lake, Sleeping Beauty, you name it, and I'll watch it every day. It's weird. I'll watch it every day from the start to the end. until the cassette, last time it's VCR, right? So VCR until the whole roll rolls up. And I'm to wind it, and see, and then it will come out, zzz, and then, oh no, okay, working, and then it gets fuzzy again.
Which
So
was your favorite?
actually all, because I could memorize a lot of the work. I could memorize, sorry, the work means the excerpts, the steps, which part of the music this came on. So Swan Lake was 3 hours long.
And you just sat there and you would just
Yeah.
watch and learn, and wow.
Learning was, I think, just automatically, I was downloading it already, because I was just loving it. And then sometimes, and of course, if you have a dance teacher as a mom, if you have the videos, you also have the cassettes. So if I can't watch the TV, or for some strange reason I just feel like dancing, then I'll play the cassettes lah. And same thing until it's spoiled. Because I keep rewinding and then play. Rewind, fast forward.
Did your love for dancing, was it the same for your siblings? Or was it only you?
My brother was more. So everybody in our family, there's three of us, three siblings, including myself, and I'm the oldest. So all of us were in such a way that we're forced to do ballet until a certain age. I never stopped. Clearly because that was really something I was pursuing in and that I enjoyed. My sister did her ballet until I can't remember what level, but she was then switched to Latin dance, which my mom also had a passion, and my grandmom. My grandmother was a ballroom dancer.
Nice.
Yeah. So she formed the more fierce and the adventurous side of a different kind of dance form. Whereas my brother was always praying every year what would be his last year of doing ballet and modern dance. Mine is the last year, okay. And after I finish, Mark, and I go, no, another year, okay, another year, then cry lah, or whatever. But now today he is an actor, very very successful in Singapore at the moment under the Media Corp, and he is also a violinist and a pianist.
Wow.
So that made him become a music teacher, a vocalist as well as he's a good singer, and he is also a musical theatre artist, actor.
Wow.
So he was very thankful only now that ballet saved him to become a bit more aware of his body when he's learning choreography and all that.
Wow.
I also yogis recently, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Your whole family, right?
Except my dad.
You're all in the arts except your dad. Yeah, you shared that your dad is an
aeronautical engineer.
Yeah.
Nobody following. Complicated. Just make sure we have to get on the plane. And boarding is also like boarding and when you go to the airport, how you get off the airport, all that. We've got all this nagging and SOPs. Yeah.
So how was it for you then, Suhaili? Because I know a lot of, and I spoke to you briefly about this. For Asian families, right? If most Asian families would not encourage their children to go into the arts because there's always this preconceived notion that the arts it's precarious, it's unsustainable, you will not be able to sustain yourself because there's not enough projects in the pipeline. So we're always encouraged to go on the safer route, like be a lawyer, be a doctor, be an engineer, be an architect, be an accountant. Was it the same for you, or was it a little bit easier only because your mother encouraged the arts? She's a dancer, so when you had that conversation with her, how was it like, and what was the trigger point for you as well when you decided, I actually want to do this professionally?
Yeah, so that's all a really good complex question, because you're gonna probably like be so surprised, I suppose. So the age gap between my mom and I, she had me when she was 23. So for us to have a lot of discussions that she was a tiger mom and bringing me up and all that, when you come to an age where you know what to do, like kind of realize, wow, this is what I like to do, doesn't seem to be the sort of vision that she actually thought was going to be for me. Like there was always a path that my parents have kind of steered me towards. So they've actually, after SPM, they've actually put an audition video for me to continue my year 12 in Australia. Year
Okay.
12, like a form, form 6, which is for them is, and it's a half dance, half theory academic school.
So they wanted you to be a dancer from early on.
So that was not really a discussion, not being a dancer. I think my mom finally realized that, oh, okay, she can take over the business, but she still
Mm,
could dance. So let her get the degree in dance before I can pursue the more licensed, so-called licensed teaching certs,
okay.
And that was not the intention that I wanted. But the confusion that I felt when I left SPM or when I left high school was like, why can't I be like the rest? Everyone's doing O levels, everyone's doing
Mm,
like foundation level, whatever. That time where it's about everyone is just pre-university, And I thought, okay, why don't I do that first? Why can't I just do like parents were saying, oh, because it's not a normal job, right? Yeah, I would have been one of those parents. Why don't you just get a safer job? That was my
mm.
intention. Like, why can't I just get a normal, typically normal job to just qualify?
What
Because,
What do you want to do when you were in your form 5, when you were 17 after SPM? What were your
so this is
plans?
what I couldn't decide. I didn't know what to do. And hence, I
Okay.
couldn't argue with my parents
Right.
putting me up in a dance school, I didn't have any I didn't have a solid argument to tell them what I really wanted to do because truly I didn't know what I wanted to do. But I knew one thing: I was good in dance. But I could study, I could learn things, but nothing seems to point into that direction of I could probably go to economics, I could probably go
Mm,
to accountancy.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So,
So hell no could I do with midget Lokola. So it was like, no, but like I don't mind, but then how can it be solid? So it was scary. I was one of those weird person in the generation where I didn't know what to do, but I knew what I was strong in.
but I think
But I wasn't so
many,
sure that
yeah,
strong in,
many
yeah.
people when after SPM they would still be confused, and a lot of the times our parents would be the ones making the decision for us, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Which
See.
is very interesting how this generation is very different from my time.
Hmm.
Feels like a lot of the generation now really knows what they want to do. Maybe it's because it's accessible for them with
Maybe. Yeah.
technology today.
Or they're just more adamant, perhaps. You know.
Yeah. I feel everything is there, like it's
Mm.
given on plate, and you just kind of like adjust and see what you can make do with it.
Mm.
But as for you know internet wasn't that great before, nor were news that spread around the world. Could we get it very fast and see what was more convincing for us to try out?
Mm.
So I was a bit lost at that time, but not lost enough to know what I was still good at and what I could just go with.
Mm.
So dance was that's why I couldn't argue with my parents, and they've already like put in investments to put me to Australia, which I was quite okay because I still had friends also going there,
But studying different, but in
but
different
studying differently.
colleges,
Yeah,
different universities. Right.
yeah.
So do you put up a fight with your parents, or do you say, okay, I'll explore this and I'll give this a go?
Uh, Not really. It wasn't a fight. It was more because I knew I couldn't. I couldn't. I just questioned, and then I couldn't question anymore because I wasn't sure and I was scared. I was scared that if I really tried to decide something that I felt I was capable of doing,
Mm.
I was not certain that I can prove them and it would be a waste of money. The main important thing is I'm going to waste money,
Right. Okay.
and to put me up in Australia and to get me going and just doing year 12, at least it's giving me a buffer lah. Like year 12 would be something I would probably like search and find new things that I'll be interested while I'm there. So only until then did I found the appreciation for dance through contemporary dance. So contemporary was very new for me when I was 17. I thought dance in ballet terms were just ballet, and the only prime thing that you should be great at should be that. Other dance forms didn't matter. That's how shallow I was.
Why was that? Was it because your mom specialized in ballet, you grew up around ballet? Or was it a form of like, for me, whenever I think about ballet, I always think about the discipline and the hours you have to put in,
Yeah.
and how much perfection you have to achieve from there.
Yeah.
So
So I,
was
I
yeah.
felt that kind of justified on top of everything,
Mm,
because I mean, it wasn't a complete journey at that point, right? But I felt like I've done so much. I went through series of failures.
mm,
I had to go through like the rehab for my back, because getting all these like diagnoses. I went through so many performances at that time, and as you grew, you can see your friends slowly, like, either most of them actually were just continuing with their journey of studying doctorate or
mm.
accountancy or anything like that. So it was a bit like, oh, what am I doing? So
Did you
it was
envy them, or did they envy you? How was it like?
it's hmm. I never really thought that way, but
Mm,
I just hmm, I never really thought about it actually. I just knew that I was gonna be different. Yeah, different, and a lot of them slowly just gave me the sign that they were giving up in dance, that they just can't keep up. Because
mm,
that's why I said ballet. And I think that keeps me at that point of time being shallow about how ballet is the most difficult, hardest form to achieve. And if you have achieved a certain level, you are considered like a pro already,
mm, mm,
and that it tops off everything, because my vision of my community is just ballet and modern dance. But you still must have that ballet physique, that ballet technique, because whatever that I've seen by different companies now producing is always big ballet companies, and my group, my training of growing up with ballet videos,
yeah.
and ballet idols were
Mm,
just so unreal. But then contemporary dance really changed my life in Australia. Like, really changed, shifted my whole perspective of
how
people that I
so?
know. Oh, just the way you could move more than ballet.
Mm,
So ballet has a very aesthetic value to it. It's valuable, it's priceless, But having the sense of contemporary form to just transit for those who can't um, achieve that can't even reach up to that value. And by the way, ballet now, the value is super high than where I thought it was. I mean, people are turning like, not triple pirouette would be a great achievement on point. On point, the toes.
mm-hmm.
We're talking about people who can turn 9 to 10 turns on point and still land gracefully, or even shock themselves. Oh my God, did I just do like 9 or 10? And this is not even having a back person to like assist their waist. They're just turning. So you're talking about high value of ballerinas today, with social media, now to emphasize how many amazing dancers they are out of millions. So so I I really feel that that was just the breaking point for me. Contemporary
Mm,
dance could be an opportunity to excel what what skills I have, to
mm,
enhance, to discover, and that's when I felt my journey was just about to begin. But through choreography, and bless my teachers for giving me this nurturing and assistance, that it's not about, no, you cannot do this, no, you cannot do that. It was always
mm.
like, you really should consider doing this.
Wow.
So and my mentality last time was always like a competition base. So when I got into the university, the Bachelor of Dance under the Victorian College of the Arts, affiliated with Melbourne Uni at that time. Now it's fully Melbourne Uni, by the way.
Right. Okay.
Um, it's it was there were always great awards given out to specific students according to their year. So at the first and second year, uh, it was always me aiming for those awards in a way lah, and I got them, because I just wanted to prove to myself and prove to my parents that your money is worth investment lah. Okay, I'm just gonna not argue anymore. This is what it's quite fun to get into. And then the third year was the biggest years to find the outstanding graduate performer. Which was super hard for me because I put so much pressure onto myself that I definitely, can.
This is a 3-year degree, right? Or
Yeah, it's a 3 degree, but I did an extra year for my honors program
okay.
alone. No one else, no one else applied except me.
Wow,
So it's so nice having a one-on-one.
For those who didn't go for the honors, where did they go then after their bachelor's?
So the locals in Australia, they love they have a very interesting yet inspiring way of life lah. So they will do their degree, and a lot of them get support from the government in terms of allowances, I think. And then they always work after school hours. It's really tiring to be in this position of a dancer, because you start 8:30 a.m. sometimes until 6. And then they go straight to work where they do bartending or waitressing and stuff like that. But hence why a lot of them come late to class the next day, because it's just hardcore lah. They have to survive on their own. And then some of them just pursue being freelance and independent performers, dancers, choreographers, and a lot of projects. So the cycle is quite balanced there in Melbourne, and Australia in general. And they just can't, they're not willing to invest that much to get honors. Because even if they get an honors, it's like they're not going to go into a studio, sorry, helicopter.
Can hear, but it's okay. I was wondering whether it was the earphones, but it's fine. Yeah, okay. It's gone.
Because my God, silicone stuck in my computer.
It's okay. Don't worry.
Yeah. So anyway, I was saying, they have this very interesting mentality where after they study, they find a job, they save up for a long time, and then they travel for 1 year.
They take a gap year lah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And I've seen all my friends do it. Or either that, get married lah, and have children and start something different. But still along the lines of movement. Not specific dance, but movement. So some of them like psychologists, or some movement psychologists, dance psychologists, or physiotherapy. They've gone into that. So again, see the dance of the form of being a dancer transits to something else, but kind of just having this little essence of dance within them, rather than pursuing it all out as a performer. Not easy.
Yeah, I can't even imagine. I would like to explore, right, Suhaili. You faced quite a fair bit of challenges in pursuing dance as well, because while you love dance so much, at the age of 12 or 13, you were diagnosed with scoliosis. How did that impact you as a dancer? Did you have to change your routine, your practice, in order to, suit your body even more? And how did you basically overcome it and get better?
So scoliosis is not an uncommon thing. It's a very common thing. So one of the main strong reasons I felt before I felt like giving up, felt like because I failed in one of the major examinations that everyone were expected to pass. Whoever has very good technique and has been getting distinction all the way would definitely get good marks. And I was on the total opposite. I failed miserably because the examiner insists that I do it again, to make sure that how I felt that this is straight needed to be unstraight for me in my mind, but actually this is literally straight, right? So to me, this is actually straight. And I actually spoke to her. She's like, do you feel like you're standing straight? And I was so confident. Yes, I do feel I'm straight, but I'm not. So I'm super crooked at that time because of habit, thinking that I'm straight. So it's very strange. So I need to be, so my spatial awareness of myself and everything around me had to be heightened.
Was
Had,
it painful for you though if you were to straighten yourself at that point?
it's not painful, it's
Oh,
uncomfortable.
okay.
It's uncomfortable. So to be in an uncomfortable zone, to get to a comfortable zone, you just gotta like, again, it's all the mind. You have to be aware that if I'm being tired, this is me being tired because I'm comfortable here. But sometimes I do know I can adjust to the uncomfortable zone, but because I'm starting to be aware right now as I'm talking to you, this is how straight it is. And I've also learned to accept to watch myself on video that when I can see myself getting a bit like imbalanced, it's because I know that it's a reminder that I just need to be fixing myself when I don't need the camera
So
in front
until
of me.
today, you still have that awareness. Oh,
Oh,
okay.
no, I have that awareness because I have a video to watch myself. But if I don't, I just have to constantly be aware of it. But it's also good because it helped me to know on exercises. So I had to do a lot of Pilates. I had to do so towards the part where I was struggling. It was adding more physical work to make sure I can improve my back and not go for an operation because I was still growing. So the doctor believes that I think through growth you need to go through a lot of adjustments manually rather than just straight shortcut of paying, I don't know, 20 to 30K for a operation to fix a lot for super perfect adjustments lah. Which my doctor, bless him, he was really, because I was an athlete, like an athlete to still move. He believes that I have a chance to fix it. It won't go back perfectly, but to fix it is better than doing the non-natural way.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and because I had a friend also in Australia that we shared experiences with her sister who had massive scoliosis, but she went through an operation. But that operation, this is the downside of when you put a metal in your body, it really um, messes up your everything in within your body, like your hormones. There's an
Oh,
imbalance, hormone
okay.
imbalance. Sometimes she's happy, and then sometimes she just goes a bit like haywire. But it's all like there's no warning. It's like really really high end extremities. So that's
Polarizing.
that. So she says there's a big difference. And then when the situation in Australia is cold, the rod and makes her body stiffer, and it gets very painful and uncomfortable. And this was like years ago. So maybe things have changed. And, I'm sure the technology and everything that we have has changed. But at that point of time, if I were to go on an operation like that, then these are the consequences that I have to face. It probably would have also put me down to not continue dance because it's just aggravating. So yeah, so I had to go. I was given the right way to just manage myself: extra swimming, calcium tablets, extra chiropractic,
Practice.
chiro, with physio work, what do you call this? Pilates. I had to do a lot. Pilates actually helped me so much. It was boring as hell, but it's definitely as yoga. Last time, like my mind was always about gotta move, gotta move, gotta move. So Pilates helped me to really feel the difference even when I do ballet. So always my stronger part is still delivering. My weaker part was starting to come up as well as my stronger side of my body. So I could feel the difference in how Pilates have helped me, which is why in my current training and how I instruct students, I would give some time to teach them how to activate their core and how to do proper exercises that will enhance their inner muscles to react more than the outside muscles, the outer muscles. So yeah, and my spine grew better,
Oh,
recovered
okay.
much better.
With all the work that you did, it
Huge,
improved.
yeah, which
Okay.
is a huge it's a huge uh, result that
Mm.
my doctors, had a few doctors who were impressed with the degree of an improvement. It's scary. If you see my X-ray last time, it was literally a snake. I look normal, right? Because of my
Mm.
rim is quite broad, but the whole
And
X-ray was like usually like this, a bit
yeah,
curvy, right? Mine's zoom like that. No,
if it's
scary.
so extreme, right? When you dance, I mean, like, yeah, when you're a bit crooked, when you're standing or when you're sitting, it's uncomfortable. But when you're doing your pirouettes or when you are just dancing, is it painful? Or when
No,
you're at certain
it's
dance
not
poses,
painful.
not painful?
Mhm. Yeah, it's not painful. Maybe it's because I Pilates, swimming, um, the massages were
Okay.
all the counterbalance of unnecessary pain and aches. They were the counterbalance for therapy lah.
Mm.
So constantly, so you imagine if I were to do my ballet for 1.5 hours, and then I go straight away for chiro, which is massaging it. So instead of the muscles bulking up and getting all tense, straight away the massage is actually getting it to soften straight, immediately. So that's why I don't physically face like pain and torture as normal people would be facing, because I don't sit on the computer like this as my all-time job. My whole job is to keep moving. So that's why also the doctor said then I don't recommend you to go for an operation, because you are constantly active. Your body is mobile, can adjust. Yeah, but what was painful is the adjustment part by my Chinese chiropractors. What they do is okay lah, this is perfect. This is my two legs, right? I'm lying down flat like this. They would take one leg, this is my spine, one person hold my spine down and twist the opposite side of my other leg and adjust, and then they hold this part here. So they will say, 1、2、3, boom! So they will like fully like adjust my back. That one's to the point where I cannot breathe. And then like naturally tears will
Sounds
come out because
painful.
it's so painful.
Yeah.
But it was helping me to get this natural wrong form to its full proper posture or form in that sense. Wow. Yeah, just imagine pulling the leg opposite but holding your back. So they need to adjust the lower part from moving even more to a snake-like form, which is wrong. So they need to move, they have to unsnake it. So of course, that's the painful part. But it wasn't painful that I cannot walk for days at all. It was really just pushing it to a natural state so that it doesn't get worse. That's all. That's all. And it's all mind over matter. I can do it. I can do it. I can do it because these are not just simply people like trying to torture my body. If anything happens, I'll go paralyzed. But I knew what they were doing, and I knew I had to face it. Otherwise, I'll continuously be in a habitual state of mind, and and as I progress older, I'm probably going to have worse pain. And I used to fly. I used to enjoy flying. There was one point flying was the painful part for my back because I was sitting too long.
Wow. And how long would that be before it starts aching?
If it's more than 3 to 4, no, okay lah, 8 to 10 hours. After 8 hours,
Okay, from KL to Melbourne is about 8 hours. So
yeah.
you must have hurt
I
quite
think by the time I'm already like this, but I could
wow.
lean. So
Wow.
it's
Yeah.
the habitual side where I just lean, and I have to always bring a pillow wherever I go.
Mm.
So a lot of people like to make fun, all these like bloody stewards. They'll say, "Oh, got pillow." And I used to be a big pillow last time. I can't have those stupid neck ones. It doesn't work for me. And if I don't bring a pillow for a long trip, I get so frustrated. Like no, But that is my comfort. My comfort to not feel like I'm going to get tortured on the plane. And Pills, I don't take pills. I don't take all these like painkillers
At
unless it's
all.
just before
Wow.
performance and I have no, no. I don't believe in that. I think if I can tolerate this kind of pain, because dancers, as you know, ballerinas, the feet, ballerina, contemporary dancers, whatever dancers, our feet is the worst. It's the worst to look at, you know. And so it's this kind of pain where we just look like we're all great here, but we're just in pain. But that's the pain is pleasure kind of thing. So if
Aiyo.
you know, resilience lah. Oh, like,
Wow.
yeah. So that just keeps me. The only pain, like you saying now, basically is traveling.
How long did
Yeah.
you go through your recovery regime, going for Pilates classes and going for
Oh,
massages, Cairo? How long did it
4 years.
last for? Four
4 years.
years.
Oh,
Okay.
sorry, 4 to 8 years to make sure it's regular. And then slowly I would just have to again like naturally we will always forget just because the pain is not there. Or then suddenly if I'm at the gym, I overdid it and oh shoot, I pulled like my tailbone and my pain for my back never reaches the tailbone. You know already. You know already that this is not advisable already. So definitely straight away I go and do my I go and do my what do you call my own physio, my massage. I go for spa treatment. I mean spa meaning like proper massage treatment if I can once a month, or if I want to splurge a bit more, once in 2 weeks.
Right.
Because my activity is always movement from one place to another. And as we age, it's just a good reminder that just because you don't feel that pain as much doesn't mean that
It's not
you
there.
don't
Yeah.
take care of it. Yeah. So I would say it's like a self-awareness care regime. Do it before it hits you really hard. Because yeah, so swimming, I don't like swimming, but I just know that I have to bribe myself. Why is swimming good? Can I do something about it? So if I swim, right, uh, because my boyfriend has a nice swimming pool here, I will put like a Netflix on to just swim across there, and after that I
And
go back.
watch it. That's quite clever.
Just like yeah, I have to bribe myself,
That's quite clever.
yeah, to make sure I do it. Even I was just talking to him yesterday about ballet classes during this MCO period. I never did ballet classes for many years now, touching 10 years just to teach. It was just teaching, teaching. And if it's not, then I'll just do performance work, where I perform. But even then, also, then only I'll do a workout of a ballet class to warm up. And how often is that? Rare. So it's not, so my training as a dancer last time has like decreased to almost non-existent lah, in terms of the activity of what the body is, the physical demand. So now with MCO, if I sit like this too long, suddenly this like, your nerve suddenly gets stuck in between your vertebrae, and that gets really irritating. It's not like you get a headache, but it's just like wow, so uncomfortable, like you slept the wrong way. And I realized because the body is not as mobile as it used to be. So MCO has pushed me to start a community bar class, a bar class where I feature on IG Live in order to just to discipline myself to do a class for 40 minutes. Well, it started at 30 and then it just increased to 40 minutes. And then from there also, even BART, the other company that I recently opened in February, we were also delivering live classes. And of course, it has to start with me to give these live classes. And that whole balance of delivering it for myself without being a bit like, okay, guys, turn the other side. Then I watch you, as a teacher. I had to do it as well. So it's two times, it's like being a triple threat of a instructor. I had to physically be there. I had to demonstrate the thing. I have to talk. I have to count. I have to make sure the music is synced with the whole phrasing. And I have to make sure that everyone understood it. So you're really like mind, body, soul, very busy for that next 1 hour. So that felt like my whole body, all these aches and pains that I had initially for this past few years of just sitting on a table, sitting on facing the computer and then teaching, not disappeared, but just there's no physical warning that there's something wrong with you.
So would you say that, after this has normalized and you go back to the studio teaching, do you think that you'll be a slightly different teacher only because of the experience that you've had during
Yeah,
the
so this,
MCO?
this journey reminds me that so as a teacher, there's many flaws I have as well. I don't remember my exercises. I don't remember what I give. And then the students will remind me, but that was physical. Now it's like, oh shoot, guys, it's like, oh my God, I totally forgot half of it. Can someone tell me? Then because it takes so long for someone to respond, I was like, okay, you know what? I'm going to do it again. I'm going to make sure I remember it. So there's so many things that I learned throughout this entire journey that dancing, whether to your capability and awareness also of how much you need to deliver for yourself, is so therapeutic and powerful for your body healing. And that even if it means physically demanding yourself to get up and do the class and fix whatever that is necessary. And so all of these aches and pains that people have, like, oh, this one and my back because I'm sitting too long. I knew already it's
Yeah.
because I'm so used to something that the body is,
Story of my life, yes.
yeah, actually not ready. We're not ready to sit and stay like a turtle, like this is how we are. This is not a habitat at all. The habitat of a body, of the physical body, is to keep moving. And that's what prevents the process of aging slower. Yet, like, it will go slower. So a lot of dancers, if you see their age, or I mean not see their age, you wouldn't know their age, but if you see them perform or move, you wouldn't know that their age is a lot further down the road than them physically. So I believe that as well. Like, I mean, of course, nutrient and food pickings come into action, right? But yeah, if you can balance that out, then to me, my scoliosis is a lot more the impact of getting um, uh, massive injuries as I grow older, or if I ever fall pregnant, would be a lot more sustainable in preventing the muscles or any form of injuries. A lot more.
I see. Okay. I would like to talk to you now about, you
Yeah.
mentioned earlier about, having the right feet. We are always made to believe that dancers, especially ballerinas, right? You must have the ideal body type. You must have great turnouts, you know, um, flexible limbs, flexible joints, and great feet. What are your thoughts? How much of it is nature and nurture?
Um, yeah, good question because the the requirements in a ballet company, the aesthetic value of having, a certain flexibility level, pointed feet, good body, I think has kind of shifted.
Oh, okay.
A little bit has shifted. I don't think it's about being skinny and ever so flexy. I think it's a nice distribution of the whole body, still contributing that aesthetic value of ballet on stage. Contemporary dance is very different. Contemporary dance is a lot more forgiving. Let's put it as forgiving than the ballet industry. So contemporary dance, and I'm sure even for traditional folk dancing and all that, I believe that the body is your body is your temple. But if you are willing to, I don't think shape is an issue if you know there's something wrong with you and you know you have to fix it. Then that's when you need to deliver to yourself that there are things to consider, like losing weight, or being more firm and build muscles, I suppose, in that sense. It all depends on everybody's specific requirements. But contemporary dance to me is really being mesmerized by the different sorts of body that could display the skills, and quite extraordinary. Because I've seen dancers, bigger, stronger dancers, able to do moves that that, the typically stereotyped thin dancers can't. And that's the beauty, you
So,
know?
do you think it boils down to how much of it is boiled down to technique and how much of it is charisma, is training? Because, like, some have said that Margot Fontein or Anna Pavlova didn't have great technique or didn't have great feet. But
Mm-hmm.
when they go on stage and they
Charisma.
perform, people are just blown
Art.
away. Yeah.
Yeah, I think uh, Anna Pavlova had the artistry to make ballet um, connected with
Mm.
somebody. Yeah. Did I get cut off? Is that okay?
No,
Yeah.
I think we're
Yeah.
good. Yeah.
Yeah. So she and that's the spiritual part of being a dancer. If you have that aura to understand the energy of what commits a dancer into delivering their ballet, despite the technical part, despite the extension level and all that, it makes a whole lot of a difference of how amazing you are as a dancer.
Hmm.
And I feel that's how I could somehow connect, because people from different parts of my life have seen me perform in different things will always give me this comment like, wow, you just make me feel connected.
Mm.
The special thing of a dancer that could make someone feel connected, and that's why I always remind my students, is that if you can give me goosebumps, if you can make me tear without having me to shout out and say something and give you back the feedback while you're dancing, that says a lot of things already. That there's pure
Mm.
artistry within that person's mind and soul, reaching out already. So it's about, besides the maturity of the dancer, I think it really boils down to how the dancer fully understands the art of form that they've been trained in. That's a special skill altogether, lah. That is that makes one person outstanding.
And
So
would you say that that's a combination of nature and nurture? Like that can be trained, but most of the time is also self-reflection and bringing that out into your artistry.
yeah, a lot of experiences, whether it's from childhood experiences or um, young adulthood
Mm.
experiences. But I only learned to understand, to develop this maturity, um, after going through a relationship,
Mm. Interesting.
to be more vulnerable in my work
Mm.
stage, and a lot of dancers are not used to having partners, as in to dance with a partner. But after they've gone through a series of being intimate with somebody, most of them, usually you can see the difference. Like my students also, and for myself, they are more comfortable to just work with somebody, knowing that it's just professional, rather than he touched me, he touched me, like the young kids, But after you see them grow up, the the maturity of understanding when a person holds you, whether it's a girl or a guy,
Mm.
there's trust, and there's form of respect.
Mm.
So yeah, it's amazing. It's a good question, because the it's it's the presence and the aura of that person. Whether they just stand on stage alone could bring so many feelings, and how they just you know
Mm.
spend this energy of theirs throughout the audience. Sorry, there's a cat. Humor.
Hello, Kuma. Welcome to the show.
She's like, you're on my beanbag.
um, so,
Yeah.
you talked about connecting with the audience, but you're also very passionate about your students, right? I can see you have many roles. You're a performer, you're a teacher, you're a choreographer. Do any of these roles differ, or there are basically transferable elements between one another? And do you prefer any one compared to the others?
Sorry, the last question is,
do
and do
you
I?
like do you prefer any one role compared to the others? Like, do you prefer
Oh,
performing rather than teaching? Do you prefer choreographing maybe compared to performing?
um, I used to think like that. So throughout my whole uh, my experiences, I grew. I used to have an isolation between being a teacher, being a performer, being a choreographer, being a manager,
Okay, so when you're
being
doing that one role, you're only wearing that hat and no other
yeah,
hats. Okay.
yeah. It was never really much of a, there was no bond between each of these compartmentalized parts of my life, you know. And then, but like for Bart, the new company that I grew with friends of mine grew from because I needed to join all these hats together. So Bart is the company that really got me to think that I think in general people need to experience dance. But how do I put that into their normal regime without trying to force them to put on a tutu? You know, it's like I mean that's enough. That's enough for my life. But rather than delivering it to them that way, we implement um, just segments of it in within the fitness routine. So I had to think about how can my life and experiences where I used to hate the gym, by the way. I used to hate the gym. I used to see it and go, nope, I'm not going in there. I don't like yoga. Yoga is too slow. You know, this kind of things. Like there were so many things of like how it never related to dance. It can never relate to movement to me at that point. A shallow side of me. I was in my 20s, you know, and again because I didn't go through a personal experience of how something so slow could be so meaningful. Something related to dance could still be slow and engaging, and still after half an hour, I feel so fulfilled than a normal fast, finish, yeah, you know. So it is because I had to feel these experiences of learning to embrace it and realizing that all these kind of adds up to a new breed of things. So that's how Bart felt I could connect and kind of rebirth this idea of how to share dance furthermore without making it feel traumatic for people who say dance is dance lah, you know?
Or that is
Yeah.
unreachable, perhaps, you know, like
Yeah.
if I'm not very good at it, then
Or
maybe
you're
I
not you're
shouldn't,
tight.
yeah, or I'm tight, you know, like the people like me,
Yeah.
you know. I went for ballet classes before, I think up until grade 3 or 4, I think. So
Right.
when I think about ballet, then I get scared naturally, because then I think about my ballet teachers and how, you know, all the instructions and how my turnouts were not great. So yeah, so people, it is barred would be for people
Yeah.
like me lah, that, you know, I can still try, even though, and it's reachable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you try it to your own capacity, and again it's mind over matter. Like, you know what, I'm just going to do this because again the teacher where the training comes again as me as a teacher to train instructors. You know, not all instructors have done ballet like full out. Like some have actually problems with tight hips, you know, not so beautiful aesthetic feet, but hey, they learned the posture, the right things, the basic stuff is there. So how do I incorporate ways to make them feel inspired again? Because if I don't inspire them, then I can't inspire we can't inspire our customers or our our clients. So again, putting that nurturing part, putting the essence of how my experience as a performer. So again, to really give back that presence of all this kind of stuff, put it in this like spell and deliver it back to the instructors, because again that comes to me as I can't be delivering it all by myself. I can't be always doing the classes. I don't want it to be like it's class with Suhaili, okay, everyone will join. If it's class with someone else, like Puma, for instance, then oh, no one will join Puma because got tight hips. No, it's even better because a person who can still do something and still have very bad restrictions can actually inspire people even more, because that's when the challenges are
Yeah.
are, uh, are living
Relatable.
proof.
Yeah, and you can relate to that
Yeah.
person who's doing the class. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't believe in it has to be the perfect person who has done everything, but I believe is in the people who actually um, have gone through the experiences, have committed themselves, and has found back the passion that they once had. and the chance to come out again. And we call it the unleash the ballerina in you, you know. Back again. Why would you invest in a long time for many years? And this is also who we're catering for in our company, in BARD. We're catering for people who have done the graded examination because typical Asian parents must have certificate for grade 1 after grade 6 or finish, and then what? And then you're back to your normal job. And what was that value for? So a lot of them come back. So it's so good to feel like I don't need to perform to go through another exam, but I just feel like I could incorporate what feels good in pointing my toes before, what feels good in lifting my leg in the T-ray, but I can still do fitness with my barbells or my whatever it is. So it's a great outlet that we want to, and that I feel great to give back to the community. That a new sense of direction for a new community, even. Because I forget, a lot of people have dance ballet. My mom has created a studio for children, and children will eventually grow up. Either have more children, which we can go back to our school, which we have, and the ones who I have danced before can actually really kind of go back and go, yeah, this is great. This is something I like to look forward to as a form of exercise without any demand or expectations.
I
Yeah.
should probably give it a go someday when you're open again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you should. Where do you live?
Ara Damansara. Yours is
Oh,
in Bukit Damansara, right? Bard? Okay. Yeah, one day. Um,
yeah.
Suhaili, what
Yeah.
is your most memorable moment as a dancer? It can be you as a performer or, coming up with Bard probably. What is your most memorable, that one moment? Or it can be your top five.
Uh, memorable for in general,
In
like
general,
just
as a dancer.
as a. Okay. A lot.
A
Maybe.
lot,
How many?
okay.
Five.
Anything also can.
One moment was meeting. I never wasn't expecting Michelle Yeoh to come up to me and touch my face and go, "You're an amazing dancer. Don't stop."
Aw.
This was, yeah, she was the patron for the. We were doing a performance to create a new fund for, at that time, My Dance Performing Arts. My dance, not My Dance, My Pa. So it's My Performing Arts Agency. Um, yeah, we were all like standing in a room, feel like recognizing the Agum like that. But it was just to make sure we get an opportunity to see her. And she just came up to me and just like, yeah, out of all people, and there was no moment or no pictures, there was no one took a picture of that, but it
It
was
was
just
that
that
one
time.
moment. Oh, wow.
God, just touched my face and said, "You are a wonderful dancer." So that was one.
What are you looking forward towards in the near future?
Uh, future can be like just next month for me now. Uh,
Understandable, yes. Yeah.
future is how we grow up when I grow up. Um, future, even for short-term goals, would be to carry on, to to create accessibility that is going to be out of the box, working and exploring of how we can still, as an artist, as an entrepreneur as well, how do I incorporate or how do I make dance relative in today's way of living? Uh, but it's a good challenge. To I need to also again go through this experience, wear this top hat, wear my people top hat, and really just find ways to relate to people at this time.
Yeah.
It's very different, and times changing fast. MCO live streams used to be great, and now we're approaching today. No one actually wants to look in, feeling very uncertain with their for me. So this is an outlet people could just let all these negative emotions to come out. How can I create interesting concept of doing that?
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. All right. I hope you guys caught that. Before we wrap up, Suhaili, where can people find out more about you, about your projects, and more about the three studios that you run? Is there? There's an Instagram page, there's a Facebook page. So yeah, maybe you can share with our audience where they can find out more about you and also the dance studios that you run.
Okay, so thanks, Jacqueline. My social media on IG is pretty active.
Yes, you have your live dance classes there as well. I watch you there sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm.
Oh, thanks. So I always think people are watching me. You can just keep on watching me, but if you feel like there's something you want to do about it, yeah, DM me. So, my social media is Sudan on IG. My IG handle is Sudanza. I usually promote a lot of my stuff there, and when I tag the companies that I work with closely, would always be there, which is barre.dfit. So that's the one for fitness, and then the other one would be Aurora Dance School. That's another IG for children mainly, and for other purposes of how you want to get you want to know the arts. A lot of my friends that I share and overseas works produced is always something that I love to share on my IG stories mainly. So yeah, and my Facebook, which is Suhaili Micheline, it's my name that I have private account, but I also have a I usually highlight my talks as well. It's called the Before WPDWTD talks, and that's how you can get in touch with me. Otherwise, yeah, I think IG is the powerful tools, like all the classes or everything you want to ask, and yeah, and I'll try to respond to you as fast as I can.
All right.
Yeah.
So there you go, folks. Suhaili is more active on Instagram, but you can also reach out to her via Facebook and also Instagram. Suhaili, thank you so much for spending your Saturday morning speaking to us. I apologize in advance if there are certain parts where we were going in and out because of the below average connection speed today. But thank you everyone for joining in, and if you like this episode and you like the content that we're putting out there, you can find our content on www.WPDWTD.com. We are on Facebook, like we're streaming live our content right now. We are also on YouTube and also Spotify, so you can find Suhaili Micheline's interview, which we will be putting up on YouTube and Spotify in the coming weeks. Thank you so much, Suhaili. Take care, and I look forward to
Thank you,
meeting you in person and probably trying out your classes at BART soon.
Publish the story. Thank you. Thank you for thinking of me. Yeah, and hopefully anything I love to do, or I love to connect you guys with anybody. Yeah, I'm all here.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Please keep in touch. I look forward to just continue keeping in touch with you, and yeah, enjoy your weekend. Enjoy your second breakfast or lunch for today.
Thank you so much. Have a good weekend, Jacqueline and Dom.
Yes, Dom's right here. All right. Thank you so much. Thanks, Suhaili.